good to see so many people out here, but it's sad that we have to keep on doing this time after time. They tell us that this is not like 38 Studios. Well, it's true it's not like 38 Studios in one way, it's more expensive. And there's been this disturbing trend. 38 Studios was, at the time, the most expensive of these deals, these insider-driven deals that were claimed to promote economic development, where the voters had no say. That was only $75 million plus interest. Now this one is $120 million. That's $4 million a year for 30 years, plus the free land, plus the tax breaks, and plus some of the other costs that I'm going to get into, but it is far, far more expensive. In case you haven't realized, our politicians have no shame, and they do not mind charging more and more to the taxpayers for the benefit of their friends. And I wish we didn't have Governor Raimondo deciding on this, because she has a lot of campaign contributions from some of the people in charge of this. But it's up to us to stop this. So we've already achieved something. They've been making concessions, not to the politicians, but to us. So this deal is economically senseless. Anybody concerned about Providence's economy knows that the last thing Providence needs is more tax-exempt land. And there have been claims that the stadium will contribute to the economy in the nearby area. And economists do say that, yeah, there could be some economic benefits from the stadium to businesses within 1/10 of a mile. That's according to economist Victor Matheson from the College of the Holy Cross. Yeah, well, I got news for you, because the people in charge have thought this thing through. Who are these businesses within 1/10 of a mile that are going to profit from this? Well, the corrupt I-195 Land Commission is going to be handing out those business opportunities to the favorite cronies. So those are the people who are going to benefit from this. Minor league sports teams do not attract people from across state borders. So, yes, right here we have the home of not just where the 195 Commission is meeting, but the home of the Rhode Island Commerce Corporation, formerly known as the EDC. They had to change their name because of their last big bad decision. But they have not learned the lessons from 38 Studios. They are considering funding this, and it's no surprise. In fact, this is quite in line with what they've been doing all along. Only a few years ago, the Rhode Island Commerce Corporation handed out a tax break offer to Hasbro simply because Hasbro was moving its corporate headquarters from Pawtucket to Providence. So yes, you can see that as them handing out tax break incentives to things that the businesses would do anyway, except it's worse than that, because these kinds of businesses, whether it's Hasbro or it's the Paw-Sops, think they're just entitled to a tax break as an automatic thing.
And it's illegal too.
Yeah. So if our political elite really had our interest at heart, they'd make clear from the beginning that any major taxpayer project funding for this project is unacceptable. And they haven't done this, and that's what, and that's already telling. That shows that we're on the road to another bad deal that favors the well-connected, because they haven't taken the right negotiating stance from the beginning. So, yes, there is an alternative. Instead of an expensive deal like this, whose large-scale benefits are hypothetical and whose profits are going to go to out-of-state interests in large part, we can do better. We can spend the money on ordinary Rhode Islanders. There's no need for the proposed Medicaid cuts, because those hurt the wages of ordinary Rhode Islanders by eradicating the safety net, as Speaker Mattiello put it. We could also save the money and use it to cut property taxes for real ordinary Rhode Islanders, instead of just cutting the taxes for a small favored group of partly out-of-state interests. And we can stop the foolish path of funding those who compete by showing their lack of loyalty to Rhode Island. So this deal is structured, just a little about how the deal is structured. It's not precisely a moral obligation bond, but it's the same kind of dodge. It's a lease from it's a lease and lease back arrangement where the state has to pay $5 million a year, and then they get $1 million back. And the reason it's structured that way is by structuring it as a lease instead of a bond. They can say that that it doesn't need voter approval, because they know if this ever went to voter approval, it would get shot down. So it's a fake lease like 38 Studios. And I'm just going to give you a quote from one of the prime investors in the deal, Red Sox executive Larry Lucchino. In July 13th, 2010, he was quoted in the Wall Street Journal about his stadium plans for the Red Sox, for the home team in Fenway Park. And he said, "We knew the perils of asking for public money." And the very next sentence, that's a quote, in the very next sentence in the article, the reporter explained, namely, that fans get annoyed when teams ask taxpayers to build a stadium and then raise ticket and concession prices on the very people who pay for it. If we are going to compete with other cities and states, let's compete in turning down these foolish deals, like when Massachusetts competed with us by turning down the 38 Studios deal. So, if they want to threaten us with moving the team to Worcester, I'm not sure they really want to do it. I think they really want it in Providence regardless. But if they want to threaten us, to moving the team to Worcester, call their bluff. Yeah, exactly right. Call their bluff, and we'll turn it down. They'll spend the money, and then we'll find out which of us two is Provident, and which one is the wuss. It won't be us. So, I just wanted to give you some more research on this. This is from the Federal Reserve Bank, the central bank in the United States, the Richmond branch. They did an article on stadium deals, and it said, it quoted an economist saying, typically, stadium advocates approach debates about subsidies by saying the venue will generate tax revenues and create new jobs. Sounds familiar. And the very next sentence from the Richmond Fed was, there's no evidence that any of that happens. And I'm going to read you a little from this book, which is titled Minor League Baseball and Local Economic Development, because there have been books on this. This scam has been run so often. And it says right here, the economic impact of a minor league team is not sufficient to justify the relatively large public expenditure necessary for a minor league stadium. And it also says, in these cases they studied, public hearings were of little importance. In some cases, they drew a great deal of attention, but they did not affect the final decision. So it's good we're here protesting, but we have to keep protesting this because we're the only ones who will hold out to stop this ripoff. So please, let's keep this going. Thank you.